Hey guys, this is Epic5105, and today in this video we'll be comparing the IS-4 and the IS-7 in Panzer War. Now both of these tanks have very interesting play styles. If you just look visually, you can see how the design is very different. You have a pike nose on the IS-7 resulting in a much stronger armor profile frontally. You also have some nice spaced armor on the sides, armor which 130 millimeters on the sides, roughly 120 millimeters over here. You can see how the armor profile is a very dominant. Now the IS-4 has a more interesting armor profile. If you just look from the front on, you can see 140 millimeters on the front plate, around 160 over here, so because it's a bit more angled. Now that does pose a significant threat to the IS-4 because almost every single round fired from every single tier 10 tank can penetrate your armor. We're talking about even the E5 and IS-7, lots of tanks. Almost every single tier 10 tank will easily cut through your front like butter. Now the best thing about these two tanks is the Russian sides. Now, as of all Russian tanks, they have excellent side armor, which allows you to side scrape. But the IS-4 does struggle at this because of that plate over here. So when you side scrape, it does become much more weaker because you negated the angle, and the sides work. So usually to fix this problem, you would reverse side scrape, but then you have this weird step in the rear design meant to hold the fuel tanks, which ruins the reverse side scraping potential of the tank. Now, if you look at the turret, which appears to be the most strongest part of the tank, you can see how there's weak spots on the roof, which the IS-7 does not have. Now, just hearing this might make you think that the IS-7 is a lot more better in every single way. That is not true. The IS-7 packs the S70 130mm gun. Meanwhile, the IS-4 packs the D25T 122mm gun. Now, the IS-7 has a reload time of 13 seconds, yet the IS-4 has a reload time of almost half. Now, comparing the Alpha, which is 520 for the standard on the IS-7, 490 on the premium, and 640 on the HE, with a pen of 263 on the standard, 303 on the APCR, and 78 on the HE. The IS-4 has a less reliable AP, but a very powerful APCR, arriving at 328 millimeters of penetration and 61 millimeters of HE pen. Now the Alpha for those are 430 for the standard, 380 for the Primer, and 560 for the HE. Now that Primer is really good because firing Primer from the IS-4, you can easily cut through enemy armor. Now the front plate's like 140 at 70 degrees, 65 degrees slope. That's the 328 millimeters of penetration is enough to work through the front plate of a mouse. So of course you're gonna have no trouble penning anything unless it's auto bounce like the IS-7's pike nose at this angle. The mobility is very similar. You have a better traverse speed on the IS-7. You have a better top speed on the IS-7, and the power to weight ratio is probably better on the IS-4. I'm not quite sure about that, but the IS-4 is a lot more lighter. So now let's get into a battle between the IS-7 and the IS-4, starting with the IS-4 to show how strong these tanks are facing against each other. Now the IS-4 does have an amazing DPM, and you have to be in a position where you can use that DPM. So unlike the IS-7, which is more frontline or peekaboo or anything like that because of that big alpha, the IS-4, you have to get into a position where you can shoot, but they can't shoot. Because you can shoot. Oh, okay, I'm not even, okay. Okay, I did penetrate that area. Oh, okay. See that front plate? That hole over there on the front plate? You saw that angle we were at? And when it hit that plate, that just shows how weak the frontal plate is. It's like, what, 70 millimeters at that angle? It's, for that IS-7 to be able to pen, that plate must be really weak. I'm going to Try and put a shell. Okay, yeah. So when you can't pen someone, here's a tip. Just shoot in that area near the tracks because there's armor missing near the track area. Now here's what I'm gonna. Okay, I'm gonna try and side skip on this rock. It might end up horribly, but I'm gonna try. Okay, it's already ending up horribly. Let me try and get up on this angle here. Alright, so no, that's the difficult part. Because of that wedge, well, yeah, see that second round where it hit us? That wedge is a big problem when you're side scraping. Unlike the IS-7, that's the biggest problem I have. You can't side scrape with this tank, which really, it's really sad that you can't, because you can't go hold down because of the poor gun depression. Oh, okay, missed that shot there. And you can't. Okay, the best way to do it is, I guess, to okay, that was very, very dumb of me to peek. The best way is probably to go into a side scraping position where you can't shoot either, because it's hiding this front plate, so you're only exposing your side. When that happens, then peek out to shoot and then quickly come back in. Now you can see the IS-7 pike nose. It's very, very strong. You see that angle we're at? It's still bounced despite negating the pike nose slant. Now that just shows that the pike nose nominal armor itself is okay. I'm probably gonna die here. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Okay, good. Now the pike nose nominal armor itself is already stronger than the theoretical armor of the IS-4 after its slope. Okay, I'm probably gonna die here. I should not have gone into this position. Okay, never mind. So that was 3.9k, almost 4k. So as I was saying, the IS-4's pike nose is so strong that the nominal armor is almost the same as the theoretical armor of the IS-4. So that just really puts the IS-4 at a significant disadvantage. Now, how would I play the IS-4? You should go into a position where you're in a partial side scraping. That partial side scraping position. That's the best way, in my opinion. You hide the slant near the front and keep that side armor angled, or you can wriggle and try and hope that the enemy shell. Okay, oh, nice ricochet over there. Hope that the enemy shell would penetrate. Now this is what I'm talking about the armor profile of the IS-7. I'm going to try and get into a reverse side scraping position here. It might not end up well, but I'm going to try. Okay, it did not end up well. Now, where did he penetrate me? Okay, near side armor. So you can see easily cutting through that frontal plate. Okay, I should not have exposed that rear plate. That's another weakness when you're reverse side scraping. Now the nominal armor on this is so good that you can just side scrape normally, but you know what? I'm gonna reverse side scrape just to show how to do it and the effectiveness. Okay, that IS-4 is pulling out, which I do not like. Please get a bounce. Yes, okay. He didn't shoot. You know, I'm going to how should I pull this off? Okay, that should not fit. Now I'm gonna try and go into a face hugging position, which is the best position to go in this tank. Now I'm gonna show you the main disadvantage of the IS-4, which is its turret can be penetrated. See right over there, easy pen near the cupola. Meanwhile with the IS-7, you don't even have to fear if you point your turret sideways. The IS-7 turret is just ridiculously strong, but the IS-4 turret does have, okay, strange, you just went right through it. Anyways, the IS-4 turret does have weaknesses, which is another small problem. If you're in a tall tank like the E-100, you can easily shoot that plate over there to deal damage. Oh, it went through again. Okay, interesting. You know what, I'm just gonna shoot its hole. Yeah. I don't actually think he can penetrate me frontally at all. That pike nose is just ridiculously strong and unlike the IS-4, there is no frontal weakness like that driver's port, and you can almost safely use your armor. You don't need to rely on RNG, you can just rely on your armor because it actually works. Now let's go, and another interesting thing about IS-7 is its mobility. You can easily get to positions where the enemy doesn't expect you to go. See, we're easily going 43 Ks. Now I'm gonna put a shell through him. Yep. Now I'm gonna have to go back into another side scraping position. You know what? I'm gonna ram this guy. Nice. So the best thing about the IS-4, IS-7 is its armor profile and how flexible it is. You can peek over corners, especially well, because angling that pike nose at a degree to an auto bounce, it will bounce off. Hence its name. So the IS-7 has a very hard hitting gun, but the IS-4 gun is probably better against lightly armored opponents. It's not really shining in this battle because it's facing a heavy armored opponent. But if you're facing someone who you can reliably pen, you will easily shred them within, what, 30 seconds with that amazing DPM. Now, I'm going to try and play a bit more differently. This time I'm trying to wriggle and see how many bounces we can get. Because when you wriggle, you angle that frontal plate. But as we saw, the frontal plate, even when angled, okay, nice pen over here for 430. Now I'm going to try and get myself into a hold down position. A hold down position in this tank is also very lethal for the enemies because, like I said, it's very hard to pen that turret. But then again, you don't have great gun depression, so you can't really go hold down. Okay, I did not expect that to pen. Now I'm gonna try and go into a partial side scraping position. Okay, he's not looking at me. I'm gonna go for that lower plate. Okay, 447. Oh, okay, there's another. Oh, where did he go? Okay. Did I hit him? Did I hit him? I don't think I hit him. Yeah. The view range is kind of failing me here. Okay, he's somewhere there. Interesting. Okay, I'll trust the other IS-4. So, fun fact, you know the IS-4, when they were designing it, the turret on several prototypes, this turret was actually inspired by the IS-3 turret. I believe the turret is on the Kilovets 1. Now, the prototype of the IS-3, that is. Now, you can see just front on how similar it looks to the IS-3. The designers took inspiration from the IS-3's turret while the IS-4 was being designed, and went, why not, and just put it on, because okay, there's two IS-7s over here. No idea what that other IS-7 is doing. I'm gonna go into a partial phase hug over here. Okay, that's a bad idea. Oh, the turret. No, can I use... I'm just gonna rush this guy. And hope that he can't pen our turret in a face hugging position. Now the biggest problem with face hugging is that the top half, they can still hit weak spots on your tank. Now that's the biggest problem I have with this tank here, because even when I'm face hugging, they can still penetrate me, which in the IS-7 you're completely invincible. Now the gun is, as you can see that DPM working over here. I'm easily able to get another shell out. I will not be able to do so in the IS-7. Oh, is there still one guy left? Oh, okay. Now, the IS-4's front just has that one giant weakness, which makes it so much harder to play. That's the only problem I have with its armor, apart from the complete lack of armor on the front plate. So basically, that entire front plate is a weak spot, and that's the only reason why I like the IS-7 more. If the IS-4 had a stronger frontal plate, and you could actually side scrape reliably with that cheek. That cheek should be buffed a tiny bit, but it's dealable. And the IS-7 is just so much better in almost every single way apart from firepower, and the gun has such amazing standard penetration as well, which is another advantage of the IS-7. Really, there's not really a reason to play IS-4 when you have the ST2, which is a lot more better. That tank is near OP. I will be doing a look at it shortly, depending on how popular my Panzer War videos are. So, oh, actually bounced. Interesting. Penetration loss from distance, it seems. Now, I can easily side scrape on here. This rock, that's why the IS-7 is so fun to play. You can side scrape with it, and the side armor is just so strong. See, it's even, you know what, I'm gonna angle the armor like this. They still can't pen. Huh, he didn't even aim for me. Now let's just rush this guy and get into a face-looking position. So with the IS-7, you go frontline because this is a frontline tank. You can soak up damage because your armor will take care of most of the issues. And bang, ram to finish him off. Yes, nice. So that's the IS-7 is frontline and has armor, so use it like that. You can go hold down if the terrain permits, and primarily just you can get shot. Take the shots for your team, and face hug as much as you can. You have such good mobility to escape attacks if they go wrong. That's why I like the IS-7 so much. It's so flexible, unlike the IS-4. The IS-4 has a lot more trouble on the positions it can go in. For example, it has that weak armor. That's all that makes the IS-4 difficult to play. If only that armor could get a slight buff, and it would be so much better. You know what? I'm gonna try and penetrate the cheeks over here. Okay, so I can't pen the two cheeks there because they're auto bounce, but but that front plate poses such a weak spot. That near. So, to summarize up the video, the IS-4 has a hard-hitting gun, but the armor just lets me down so much. You can't sidescope with it because of that weird step at the back. You can't reverse sidescope, and that cheek kind of makes it difficult to play. It's the armor profile just doesn't like me, you know. I'd rather play a 60 TP. But the IS-7 is just a lot more better. It's just has an insane armor profile. It has that hard-hitting gun with enough pen to pen the front of the mouse, the cheeks of the mouse, with APCR 300mm, enough to pen that front plate. So yeah, this IS-7 is notably a lot more stronger than the IS-4. It's just my opinion. If you disagree, leave it in the comments. Thanks for watching. This is Epic5105.